Hi there, it's Amanda from Amanda's Parade and Parade Handmade. Welcome. This week I've got about 6 topics to cover, so I'm going to read them out here really quickly so you'll have a good idea of what's coming up. Shopify Strategy this week, tweaks and maneuvers and such. Photo shoot opportunity came up and I took it. Nudged a few projects forward, but that was okay. It was a good thing to do. Squeeze that in. Etsy Quandry. I have an Etsy Quandry, which is whether to stay, whether to go, whether to keep going with it, push it more, squeeze it in if it's worth it. Should I try it? Should I spread myself so thin? Etc. etc. Number 4, projects underway. I have a lot of projects for Parade Handmade underway, as you know, and I'm just nudging them forward the whole time. So I'll give you a little update on those. I've got a tip for the week for productivity. Just my little bits of wisdom that I've gathered up from everywhere. So it's a little bit of a tip that kind of helps me. And my YouTube channel. I'll just discuss the YouTube channel, anything that I found out that's handy to know, etc. etc. So now on to Shopify. This week I decided to add an app, which I don't take lightly. I don't like adding more apps because every app you add can slow your site down. So usually when I add an app these days, I have a look and see which other apps I really don't need so that I can swap one out. I don't know if that's a great strategy, but it's my strategy for the moment and it's working. My speed seems to be steady, but it's not a good speed. It is around 26 at the moment. I had it at 28 there recently. I really want to get it up past 50 if I can, but I know there are certain things that I could do that would cost me money to get done, but I'm doing everything in my power to get things done that don't cost me money at the moment. So I added one of the problems that I would have on as a small business creator is deciding what products to create for customers. What do they want? What do they like? What would they actually want to buy? What would they want to spend their money on? What would actually be useful for them? What would they like? So that's a tricky thing. So I've always wanted to ask my customers. I can send out MailChimp surveys. I had it at the start about 4 years ago, but I didn't really know what to do with it at the time. So maybe now would be a better time to do that, and I probably will do that soon. But for the meantime, I have found this app and it's called Post-Purchase Survey Question. That's what it's called. It's a Shopify app. It's in the Shopify store. Free to use. It's just one question. You can decide what the question is going to be. So you can ask them. You can ask your customers. And it appears when at the thank you point, when they've actually bought something. Thank you very much. And then you just can ask them an optional question. And it's a bulletproof thing. It's a bullet point choice question, or they can put in other and say something. So I want to know what it is they would like other than what they've just bought, and what else they might like to see on the site that I could create, or ask one of the suppliers to create, or if I see it was a good fit for somebody, maybe that would be another little revenue stream for them. So, and then their customers would be happy as well. So the question that I asked was, which of the following, and I gave a little list of ideas that I have at the moment, which of the following would be of interest for you to buy? What would you like? I don't know exactly how I worded it, but that's it. It's really simple to use. I'm not affiliated with anybody, as you know. I'll be roaring from the rooftops if and when I am. But meanwhile, so I just went into the Shopify App Store, found it, searched like you would in the Google Play Store, search for it, and add app or download app, whatever it is. And there it was. Very simple to configure. Put in your question, put in your little options for the answers, and save, and then you just make it active. It's really, really, really simple, and I'm thrilled about it. So the other thing I did was, to balance that, I made the decision to take out my Instafeed app. Now, it hasn't been running for a while because somehow my Instagram my Instagram page got disconnected. I think it was just something to do with updates or something, but that was fine. So I went in to kind of sort that out, as you do, kind of following along, going through all the little bits and pieces that you need to do, tinker like an engine. And I just decided, well, you know what? I have my products on Instagram. I can tag them. I can do it on Facebook. That's fine. People know where the website is. That's fine too. And I think I can do without the Insta feed going through my website. It's not like I'm Amazon and I have copious quantities of people traveling through the website on a daily basis. I have some people every day, but it's not, Grand Central. So that was great. So I decided to do that. So that's a little victory. That's what I'm trying to do this year. Keep it simple. The less I have to do, the less maintenance I have to do, the less bells and whistles that I have, the less I have to spread myself thin. So now the photo shoot. Yeah, the surprise photo shoot. I had a pal over last week and I got up super early in the morning to get all my little bits and bobs done so that I felt that I had something behind me so I could relax for the afternoon, and we had a really nice catch up. But then she discovered that night that she had to come back the next day and that she'd be knocking around this side of the world for a while. And I thought, great, that would be lovely, no problem. But listen, now that I have you again, is there any chance that you could model for me? She'll model for me from time to time, but I didn't want to ask her the day before because I wanted to do a catch up. So she agreed, and it was great. So I have those hats that I was showing you a few weeks ago, my own hats. I got her to model those, so they're going up on the site soon. I've tweaked the photographs this morning. I kind of jammed up all my jobs for that day because of this was going to happen, but it was great. I don't get an opportunity to do that with a friend very much, but I could also combine it with a little bit of work, and it was gas fun. I was crying laughing, doing all the shots and that, so it was great. So I'll show you a couple of the shots. So now onto the Etsy Quandry. I think with Etsy, I'm always in a quandary. I started it mid to late last year on a recommendation from some people that I follow on YouTube, namely Kim Bliss. There's another lady, her name slips my mind, but I'll put it up on the screen. And they're really, really good at what they do. Kim has changed tack this year, but she's really, really good. And the other lady is really good still. So I kind of follow the two of them, and they're really, really nice to watch and just keep me in the loop about things. But on their kind of recommendation, so to speak, I started an Etsy shop last year to promote my own personal products as opposed to the products of Parade Handmade and the people that I promote on the site. So I kind of went for it, uploaded a few things, did it. It's the usual story of spreading myself a little thin. And then sometimes I kind of think, is it my lack of discipline? Should I just get up every day and just do it? And maybe that is the thing. I might just do that and just see, does that get me somewhere? Because what's happening is that I get a regular 3 visits a week. Every week I get 3 visits. I have about 22 products up there. A few of my products have been favorited by different businesses. I have gemstone cluster earrings up there. They've been favorited a couple of times, I think. I have tiny little hand-felted floral brooches, little tiny ones. They're only like that small, little titchy ones, and they've been favorited. And then just there recently, the psychedelic wrist warmers have been favorited by somebody. And then every time someone favorites a thing, it kind of reminds me, you really should be doing more with your Etsy shop. So I'm kind of on the fence because this year I've been trying to simplify things by cutting off all the kind of the dead wood, so to speak. I've yet to make a sale on Etsy, but I've yet to make an effort on Etsy besides just uploading the products. And I did get keywords and try and do my best with the descriptions and all of that. I've taken down have I taken down the print? I don't think I had print on demand on Etsy, but anyhow, there you go. That's my quandary about Etsy. It's a constant kind of niggle. But maybe as I'm talking it through here, I've realised I should really just get up, upload, just do one listing a day if I've got an item, and put it up there. But still, in the back of my mind, I'm still tempted to just delete and then just focus on my site and just promote. I'm worried. The reason why I'm worried is that I don't want to overshadow Parade Handmade with my own product. I don't want to use it as my own playground. I want it to be for everyone else. So, but I find it hard to divide my product between the two. Etsy wants you to have the products just for them. They don't want to have, some in both places of the same item, which is probably all right because most items are different anyway, because they're all handmade and they're all slightly different. So that probably won't go against me. So there you go. That's my quandary. It's going round and round in circles, and I'll keep you posted as to, anything that I might do about it. Now, the tip for the week, productivity tip. I have one of these little journals. This is an A5. Normally I'd have about an A4, but this is okay. It's working out. I think I might get an A4 again next year, but this is an A5. It's working out great. It's a daily diary. So what I do is, as the week is starting, or even over the weekend, I'll list out anything that I know that I have to do on any given day. Personal things on the top of the page, just in a little on the very top border area up here somewhere. Say if I have to collect somebody or drop something off for someone or that kind of thing. Business not related, but that I have to kind of blend into the day. And then I will order the details of what I need to do, leaving a few gaps in between so that I can put other extra things in as they occur, as they do. So, and then what I do is I just tick off. I'll put them in order of importance and tick off the things as they're done. And it gives you a sense of organization and satisfaction that you've got your jobs done. And you also know where you're going with things. And you still have room to add in a couple of other extra things if you can, which I always do, and I don't always complete the tasks, but it keeps me orderly, and I'm not naturally that way, but I need to keep myself in order. Otherwise it could be a complete spaghetti. So I hope you found that a little bit helpful if you haven't been doing it already, or in a more sophisticated way than I. That's about as far as I can plan. See you on the flip side. Now on to the YouTube channel update. I don't like that word, but anyhow, I've done a lot of kind of searching and learning on YouTube this week. So I'll just mention 3 of the little things that I've kind of learned, and I'll link to, or I won't link, but I'll tell you where I found the information. One of the things I needed to know, basically YouTube has YouTube Studio where you can look at your analytics and it'll tell you, your reach, your audience retention, your audience age, and such and such and such, all about your videos and how they're going and how many views you're getting. And it'll even tell you at what point in the video they're all kind of leaving, or at what point in the video you kind of raise interest or lose interest, etc., etc., etc. So that's really cool, kind of, except for, yeah, it's just, it's very good. Sometimes your graph is like this. It tends to start, let's say it starts here. I'll do this for you. No, here. I don't know how that works. So anyway, this side. So it starts and mine goes whoop, and then I kind of keep people, and then it goes along for a while, and then it goes down, and then it crosses, and then, oh, it's a bit of interest, and I'll keep people. One of my videos actually kept people almost to the very end, and then it went droop. I have to figure out exactly what that was about. That was the last video. But some of them will go, you'll always kind of have a drop off at the beginning, so you're like, whoop, not maybe that far, but there, and then it'll go, and eventually it'll be gone. So really what you're trying to do with audience retention is you'd love to just get them all to look, anyone who scrolls by or finds you or searches for you and stays there to right to the end. But that's not going to happen for most people. There's various statistics that I'm not going to number crunch here, but the statistics where what's good audience retention, I think it's somewhere around, well, super good is about 80% retention. But I mean, that's, you want to be pretty hot to be doing that, hot to trot. I don't know if I'm ever going to have the energy to do that, but I'm going to try to get it up from where it was. I think I had a sort of about 10 to 15% retention, which was not too shabby, I thought. It was an improvement anyhow. And anyhow, it's interesting. So because of all this, you want to improve on that every week, and it's great because you can see exactly what went wrong, and then you can look it up on YouTube to get help with your problem, whatever that is, whatever your issue you're having. So my thing was retention, and I looked it up, and there were a couple of things I wanted to do. So one of the tactics that I learned was to let people know at the beginning what's going to happen later on. So not only do you say, hello, this is who you are, and introduce yourself, but you also just let people know immediately where they're at, that they've come to the right place, that they're going to be getting what they came for, that your thumbnail wasn't, a nice thumbnail to tap, and then when they come in onto your video, you're talking about something entirely different, or not really from the angle they wanted you to do it from. Or maybe they just don't like your style or whatever. Basically, they just want to see what you're going to do. So you tell them at the start, this is what I'm going to do. So that's easy. I'm trying to do that. my thing is I always kind of pad it out a little bit, so I'm trying to kind of limit the words around the list, but I'll also bullet point them so that they can see them and then decide. So you can, that's one thing. But the other thing was, I found was, create, when you're shooting your video, you shoot this is kind of the, what do you call it, the narration or the narrator part, where, you know, you're telling the story and you're kind of moving through the video. But you can create a B-roll, a little bit like the previous video that I had. That wasn't because I had looked it up, it was just I wanted to show you, but it's actually a thing where you shoot what you're shooting, you tell people what you're doing, but you also shoot a B-roll. So that'd be kind of stills or little short video pieces, clips about whatever you're speaking about, to illustrate what you're doing and to change up the scene. So it's interesting for people so that the screen doesn't remain the same. They don't just nod off because they're so sick and tired. It's like watching the news. So you want to have it interesting for people visually and change it up so their attention is kept. So, there were lots of little tips and tricks. I could go on and on, but I'm not going to, because I don't want to just look at other people's videos and come on here and then rob all their information. But there are a couple of things. And just the last thing was, what I wanted to do was, I wanted to link, like there's this thing in YouTube Studio where you, or when you're uploading a video, where you can add a playlist. But I don't have any playlists yet. I'll look into that. But basically I knew you could add things on to the end, and I've seen them doing it all the time in other videos. So what I wanted to do was do whatever it was called. I think it's called an end. What do they call it? An end, add, an end, an out. I don't know. Anyway, end page. And on this end page, you have links to previous videos that you've posted, so that you kind of retain people's attention for longer, and it's the retention time is longer. So if you can keep people carrying on with your content, that's really good for YouTube, and it's good for your ratings, and etc, etc, etc. So that's what we're trying to do. So I will let you know, let you know along here somewhere who they were, so that you can go to them, because they will number crunch and tell you exactly. They're pretty high powered people, and you can get more information. So I hope that was a little bit of help. I'm going to try and do that later on. I haven't edited this video yet as I'm speaking, so that'll be fun. And yeah, I think that's it for the moment. I'll let you know how I get on. Okay, go for it. I finally dragged the table out. It's only a tiny little table. Look, it's kind of like you can nearly put it on the bed when you're having your breakfast. Like that ever happens. But anyway, yeah, so I intended, I'm trying to get this nice and light for you. There you go. I intended to do a little frame, you know, put a piece behind it and just sit that on it, just to be quick and simple, not to make a meal of it, because I'm not going to make gazillions. I just want to get some done. So now there you go. I decided in the end not to do like I was going to do, so I just cut a little hole in the corner of each one. I'm going to slip that in, and then I'm going to cover the little corners with a tiny little bit of green so that it doesn't stick onto the card. But on the flip side, I've done a little bit of a postcard thingy with our little sign there, as you see. So they'll be able to use those then as a little postcard. You can use this idea if you want to, fire away. It's just... So now there you go. This is the Mother's Day card. I used the same method, except I didn't cover over the little corners with any colour, because I have a lot of pink already on the card, as much as I want. And same again, photograph paper, printed out, and then just popped in like that. There's no glue required or anything. It's really handy. So go ahead and use that idea if it's handy for you. And then you can take out these little pictures and use them for bookmarks. They're not quite thick enough for postcards, so as I was saying earlier, that they were, but they're not. You'd want to get it slightly thicker for that. But you could also mount it on card if you wanted to use them later for bookmarks. So go for it. Enjoy yourself this week.